Hey music fans, as a roadie I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. I had a lot of fun with Scott on all of these reaction videos and I made a new friend. I like this guy. I had met him recently. I'm not going to get into it because you're going to hear it on 2 reactions here. I wanted to put them together because I feel like they were kind of meant to be together. This is a new reaction from a person who never heard of the band before and it's very, I'm going to say, polar opposites of the Nightwish repertoire, right? And he liked both, and that's what I think is really cool about it. So I put them together. You guys can check them out and you can share your views and thoughts on Scott, on me if you want, but on Nightwish and compare the performances. I am aware that Flora performed Phantom of the Opera a number of times as well. You guys can check all those out on my podcast. And if you didn't see the newest release with Taria and Marco performing it, it was a really beautiful moment, I think, in Nightwish history. Anyway, let's jump this together and you'll get to see some back-to-back reactions with my friend Scott Palmason of Nightwish songs. Let's do this. So this guest is a little random. He's random because he's a new friend of mine, my girlfriend. She's like, tonight we're going to go to a variety show. And she said it was close to the house. I was like, all right, fine. So I end up going with her to this variety show. I don't know if you guys know the LA area, but if you do, there's a place called Van Nuys that's in the valley. It's okay, whatever. So we're going to go to Van Nuys to see a variety show. Then it changes in the car to, it's a variety show at a trailer park. I'm like, of course it is, right? So we did this variety show. And it's actually a super cool trailer park. It's called the Hollywood Trailer Park or something. And it just had a cool vibe to it. There's a whole bunch of people in a room and they're going to perform, right? And, you know, a few of them were really, really good. And it's because the winner gets $500. So anyway, I'm hanging out. I'm watching it. It was interesting to see the panel of judges. Since I'm doing these videos all the time, it was interesting to hear what other people say when they're doing reactions or whatever, and they were real cool. Anyway, this is the dude that won the variety show. His name's Scott Palmason. I thought he was super, super talented. I liked the guy a lot, and I asked him to come on my show. So a little bit of background on the guy. He's an actor, singer, and a comedian. He's from Seattle, Washington. He's been on shows like The Tonight Show and Disney's Channel's The Lion Guard. You can find him regularly performing at the Outside In Theater in Los Angeles. And his next event is Ella's super cool Eurovision Holiday Spectacular. It's December 16th at the Lyric Hyperion Theater, again in Los Angeles. You can follow him on Instagram at Scott Palmason. Anyway, let's jump in this together. He had never heard Nightwish, and we can see his reaction together. I made it a little bit of fun. I made him perform at the end. And then there's a little bit of an Easter egg, so when it goes into my music, if you usually log off, you can wait 2 seconds if you want. It's kind of like a Marvel movie type vibe, right? Anyway, thank you guys. I do look forward to seeing you on the next one. It might just be another Nightwish reaction. Let's jump into this first one together, though. Thank you. Have you ever heard of a band named Nightwish?
I have not.
Yeah, honestly. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, Scott. So I did this for a reason. A, I'm a huge fan of the band. B, this is, I don't want to say my favorite track of theirs. I'll say arguably one of them. I really do think they're awesome. This performance, I hope, sticks in your brain for a while. That's how much I like it. However, it's going to give us 10 minutes or so for you to digest what's going on. It's a longer track. Okay. I know you because of that event that we met, which was very random. And I know you're an improv master. So my thought process is it'll give you 10 minutes not to only appreciate and like, but maybe we can come up with something fun afterwards that's a little different than my regular reaction videos. If not, at least you got a good track to listen to.
Yeah, no pressure. Got it.
Okay, no pressure. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure.
No pressure.
No. Let's do this.
All right.
Your girlfriend will just leave you.
Yeah.
I've already arranged it.
Oh no!
Siren from the deep came to me, sang my name, my Lord. Still I light my songs about the dream of mine, worth everything I may ever be. The child will be born again, that siren carried him to me. First of them true loves, sitting on the shoulder of an angel without care for love
Yeah, I call it the calm before the storm in this track.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. I love the different levels of everything. It's just super theatrical. This is awesome.
You're Your parents were opera singers, or
Yeah, my grandfather was a semi-pro opera singer, and my dad was an opera singer. So I grew up with a lot of, my dad and my grandfather singing arias like in the living room and doing concerts, and yeah, a lot of opera in the house.
okay, cool. So I'm really intrigued. I haven't brought on anybody I'm aware of, at least, who has an opera background. So I'm
Yeah.
intrigued to see what you say at the end. So let's continue on. If that's cool, but that's neat.
Fire. Nice.
What'd you think?
That rocks. That just flat out rocks. It is. It's clearly a mix of the theatrical with the rock in the best possible way, and it really is. Really leaning into that genre where it is equal parts. Almost feels operatic, like a musical, like a theme, like a story's being told, something grander than the stage. And yet at the same time, it's like you can flip it on a head and it's look at us rock out with
Yeah.
these instruments or the voice. That was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad. So, one of the things when I saw you sing we were at this little show, but hopefully I got a lifelong friend here with you because I enjoyed you. But as soon as you got on the stage, I didn't, I nudged my girlfriend and I was like, this guy's a real singer. This guy's a trained singer. And she's like, oh, okay, okay. And what I loved about when I first heard Floor sing, because there has been a few different singers for this band, but
Okay.
Floor sing, I was like, oh wow, like, and it was that same feeling of, oh yeah, you're like really, really talented. So, what got you feeling that joy in the track immediately? Was it her? Was it the drummer? What got you going? Oh, this is good.
I think the first thing is really the composition. The composition and the choices, or the choices that were not made, truly is what got me in first. If you look at bands like, it reminded me, there were echoes of Tangerine Dream for me.
Oh,
Looking at Tangerine Dream, looking at, let's say, the soundtrack to the movie Legend, there's these like epic moments in that movie that tell an epic story. And that's kind of what we were doing here. It really was, can you match like an epic rock vocal, but make it very angelic almost at moments? And can you make it sweet and soft and then turn it on its head and make it bigger? There were elements of for me at least, elements of Queen there as well. The way that Queen might turn something very, very sweet and almost like telling a folk ballad and then turn it into rock right away and tell a grand story.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that the license to have that theatricality with the rock, almost like, and again, I think this rocks much more than Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but it kind of reminded me of them a little bit too. The great thing about that group is you have the celebration of the holidays, but with this rock edge. And I think that reminds me of the theatricality here with that rock edge. I think ultimately it was the composition that got me in first. And then the vocals were, I also loved how the vocals were restrained at moments. It wasn't an all-out noise fest. It was softly building to the end. And by the end, you could see the audience, they're going, oh, and everyone, you and me are like, this is amazing. Because It was built. It wasn't right away giving it all away. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does.
Yeah.
Was Legend Giorgio Moroder? Do you know?
No, it was. I don't know. I do know that I do know the story there was that it had a film score, and Ridley Scott decided to, for the American release, bring in Tangerine Dream to do everything. So the Tangerine Dream version is the one that I know. They're much more 80s synthesizers and a little more of an 80s kind of vibe. But similarly, I could see this being a beautiful soundtrack to like an epic movie or story, and that's kind of what they were doing as well.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Legend. It's the one with Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, it's the one with Tom Cruise, the legendary Tim Curry. He plays this guy with huge horns. Mia Sara. It's such a great fantasy film, especially of the 80s.
Okay.
And I think that I love movies like that take fantasy elements or theatrical elements and bring in like a rock band to kind of complement it. This was very cool.
Oh, right on. So I don't know if you'd be up for it, and I don't know how it'll go. But the evening I saw you perform, you did something that you later told me was totally spur of the moment. And
Sure.
asked a few of the people in the audience to pick a few random subjects, and then you performed a song like out of nowhere that you pulled out of your pocket, and you won the event, right? And
I
so
did. Did.
it was super cool, man. So I don't know, but I'd love to see you do your thing because you are so. I know you are really talented, but I'd love for some of my guests to see how talented you are. And my
Sure.
thought would be, can you pull some of the elements of the track that you liked and put it into a Scott song?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. All right.
I think the
But you like improv.
yeah. Well, what I would challenge you to do is give me a subject that may not rock as may not come off as rock. So like pick a subject and I'll kind of give you an idea of how I might construct that song, at least how my brain might go. And I'll kind of try to make it as close to this as possible. But I'll talk through it a little bit as well.
All right. So the idea is something that is not like this song, something, but not music, just something random.
Yeah, a subject matter that wouldn't normally be in a rock song, like something more mundane. Normally, rock is about like revolution, or it's about love, or it's about a story. What's a subject that is like that would never be in a rock song? It's too mundane, too boring.
What's a stamp collector called? There's a name.
I think it's just a stamp collector.
No, isn't there a name like a numerologist is for coins?
Oh gosh, what is the name for a stamp collector?
All right, well, we could either say stamp collector or numerology. I don't know which one.
Okay, so if it were stamp collector, I might start with like the and then I might start with like maybe the stamp collector's day. It's like, well, let's just go through the day of like the stamp collector. My mind would go, I wake up at 10. Dun, 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 dun. I'm at it again. Just another day in my one-room apartment. Dun, 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 dun. Cat needs to be fed. Dun, 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 dun. Hopefully he's not dead. And I must make some food. Dun, 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 dun. I must make some food. Dun, 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 dun. And then we might slow it down a bit.
Sure.
And then I might realize I'm out of eggs. And I go, how am I supposed to collect stamps if I have no eggs for breakfast? For breakfast, breakfast. How am I supposed to go on without a 4 cheese omelet? And then all of a sudden the fire goes. We haven't even gotten to the stamps yet. It's just fire. And then I go to the story of like, when I was 4, my mama makes me an oatmeal sandwich. I threw it in her face and said, no, cheese is the only way. A 4 cheese omelet. And the audience goes, 4 cheese omelet. They know it. 4 cheese omelet. And at this point, people are throwing blocks of cheese on stage, and there's eggs going on stage because they know this rock song.
It's
and
a
then
breakfast
at that point,
mayhem.
we might go, and we might transition. And it might be similar to what they did here. Everyone again takes a break.
Yeah.
You might hear a nice little piano solo.
A little bit of cutting the cheese.
We'll be cutting the cheese. Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Literally, though, like that. Yeah.
and then I would say like it goes into a beautiful moment where like maybe we see like the obsession with the stamps. You're like, now that I am fed, I can be with my true loves. Now that I am full of sustenance, I can collect. Now that I am full, I can pay attention to you. Kind of feels almost Phantom of the Opera. I can be here to put you in the binders carefully. One by one, it starts to grow. The music starts to intensify. One by one, it gets larger. Here we go. A collection's not a collection unless you collect. A collection is not complete until you have the rest. A collection is nothing but fancy unless you're the best. I say I'm number one, enough with the rest. And then I think that's the crescendo, similar to what they did there. I would start to list all the different stamps that I had, and I would go one by one. I would maybe have people walk out with stamp costumes and like start throwing stamps into the audience and
tattoo stamps.
Yeah, but that's my stamp collecting rock theatrical song.
All right.
Off the cuff, improvised.
It was amazing. I think everybody's been watching like, what is he doing? What is Joel Puff? But you know what? That was a totally different style of reaction. We did something different. And I'm glad you, in all seriousness, like the track. So why don't we jump into another one? So I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I did this with my last guest, and he actually did not like one of the tracks. So I played him another track by the same band. And with your permission, I'm going to play you a track, a Nightwish track, with their first singer, and see what you think.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's do it. This one's a little unusual in a couple instances here. If you watched my last reaction with Scott, I had him listen to Nightwish for the first time, and he has such a strong operatic background. I really wanted to see what he would say about Tarja as well, and so I did back-to-back Nightwish reactions. A little background on Scott. Scott Palmason is an actor, singer, comedian. He's from Seattle, Washington. He's been on shows like The Tonight Show and Disney Channel's The Lion Guard. You can find him regularly performing at the Outside In Theater in Los Angeles. His next event, though, is Ella's super cool Eurovision Holiday Spectacular, December 16th at the Lyric Hyperion Theater in Los Angeles. You can follow him on Instagram at Scott Palmason. I met him because, if you didn't see the first one, I'll go real quick in case you did. My girlfriend invited me, or made me go, to a variety show at a trailer park. And Scott, he won the event, so he won $500, and he was so good. I mean, so good. So I asked him to come on the show, and we've become buddies. We've been hanging out a little bit here and there. He's a good dude. Anyway, let's jump in this together, and we can see what he thinks of Tarja and the Phantom of the Opera. Let's do this. Okay, I just really enjoyed your reaction to Nightwish, and I think it's because I'm truly a fan. And I'm well aware that the last singer we saw, Flora Jansen, has a proper singing background. She must have gone through proper singing education. Mm-hmm. Well, this singer did too. This is Tarja. And Tarja was the first singer of Nightwish. And I think they're both incredibly talented. Nightwish fans have their opinions on which one's better. A lot of the time, I think they're both amazing. But they're a little different. And I'd love to hear with a person with an operatic background who's also a talented singer what you have to tell me. Now, in that last one there where I put you on the spot and I had you sing for me, and I appreciate it, by the way, it was a lot of fun, you brought up the Phantom of the Opera. And so it immediately triggered in my head, why don't we play Tarja performing Phantom of the Opera? So Tarja was in Nightwish. And so this track is her performing it with Nightwish. She was a predecessor to Flora. So she left the band a while back, just a heads up, so you just know a little bit. So
okay.
Cool. Let's do it.
Great.
bit different. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think that this one, I think what stands out to me is just even the mere fact that a band is willing to take on musical theater like that. They get it. I think that's number one. I mean, that track by itself, that song, the key is the end, the operatic vocals at the end, and I thought those were really strong. And I loved hearing almost like a rock voice, like a male rock voice against that operatic legato, as you will. And, I think that would satisfy all the singers in my family. My grandfather and my dad were more the opera guys. I'm more of the rock musical theater guy. I didn't do as much opera as them, but I think all three of us would have been like, yeah, very cool. Very cool to see. I mean, people who know Phantom know that there's a low level that kind of rocks as a show. And I love when rock groups kind of tackle that stuff head on. I think it's great.
Cool. Okay, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, so just so you know, it's the keyboard player who arranges everything and writes all the music. Yeah. And then the bass player is
the keyboard player. Nice work, keyboard player.
Yeah, amazing, isn't he? And the bass player is the one you were watching. His name's Marco, performing. So he left the band, and I'm getting like wait, I'm getting to.
No,
but
it's good.
Open the door. I wanted to open the door for you because I'm glad you like them. So anyway, let's jump into another band. Unless you have anything else to say about this track, but
no, it's great. I mean, I'm a musical theater guy, but I'm also a rock guy. So anytime we can kind of have both, it's awesome. It's great.
Awesome. All right, well, let's jump into a rock band then. We'll change the vibe. Have you ever heard of a band out of Mexico by the name of The Warning?
No, haven't heard of them.
Let's jump into that one and you can let me know what you think.
Okay.
Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.